What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Ash Brown, and this is Ash Brown Uncensored. On this program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related, so you gotta stay tuned to see what I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so I haven't had Netflix for a while, right? But when I did have Netflix, I was watching this show called The Crown, and it kind of chronicles the royal family, the royal family of England and Queen Elizabeth II. And I always thought it was just really fascinating that they would use like factual things, like say Queen Elizabeth went to the park on January 27th, 1982. You know, that's a fact. And what the show did is they built storyline within that fact. So, you know, we are not 100% that this is the stuff that went down or these are the conversations that were had, but it's entertaining. So when I initially had been watching it, I had gotten to season 4. So I'm starting off season 5 now. I've been watching it all weekend. Oh my gosh. I've been yelling at the TV. I've been screaming at the top of my lungs. They're going to put me out. Because it's just a lot of just crazy stuff, but it also goes back to the monarchy, and just the way that it's structured and how they have to do things that they don't necessarily want to do, but are put in position to do and are expected to do. And I mean, it's just crazy because it's like, okay, so Margaret is Elizabeth's sister. So Queen Elizabeth's younger sister, Margaret, 40 years ago, she wanted to be with this guy that, he was an equestrian, so something to do with horses. He was like an equestrian coach or something, and it was something of that nature. And so, because he wasn't a person of privilege and didn't come from, you know, what they consider to be upper class, it was frowned upon for Margaret to be with him. So, basically, Elizabeth worked her magic and made him go away. Like, sent him to war type of shit. And I'm like, that's really effed up. So Margaret didn't know the whole time. So they were riding each other the whole time. Her and the guy were riding each other the whole time. And, you know, he was like, he doesn't know when he's going to be back. And he misses her and rah, rah, rah. And so they're riding back and forth for years. Years go by. And one day he writes her a letter. And he was like, yeah, I've got to head to this place or whatever. And I've got my secretary with me. And, you know, this companionship, you know, has been really what's gotten me through, and I'm going to ask her to marry me. And I was like, what the F? You got this lady, you've been stringing this lady along all this time, and I get it. They probably didn't know what was going on in the background, but that's besides the point. So he reaches out to her in whatever that current time was. And I think that was like in the 80s, either late 80s or early 90s. And he reaches out to her. So long story short, they hang out, they catch up and everything. And she's like, you know, why did you reach out to me? And basically, this man is dying. It's been 40 years. He's married. He's had kids. He's had grandkids. Like, he's at the end of his rope. And now you want to be with her? Sir, no. I was just like, what the heck? I was cussing the TV out. I could not believe it. And then Margaret put the pieces of the puzzle together and realized that Elizabeth is the reason why he went away. And so she confronts Elizabeth on it. And Elizabeth was like, look, I didn't do that as your sister. I did that as your queen. And so it goes back to the whole duty thing. Like, Elizabeth, I think, was really good with putting the country first. But in her putting the country first, she put her family last. And I think that's why there was always so much problems in that family. 92, maybe it was 92. 1992, she said basically was like her worst year in all of her reign. And at that point, she had been ruling for 40 years. And she said it was the worst year of her reign because she failed her family. She felt that she had failed her family, and she apologized to them, which is huge because, you know, the queen, the ruler of all, they don't typically apologize to anything or anyone. So it's just been a fascinating show for me. And, you know, we get glimpses of Diana and a little bit more insight on what her life may have been like. And I'm just really enjoying it. Perfect way to spend the weekend. Yep. So that's my little tidbit there, you guys. But yeah, that's basically the story. Hope that you guys are having a great, fantabulous week. And I definitely want y'all to just continue to push forward. No matter what. Push forward. Don't be afraid. Just be you. Be you. And that's all I got to say. Anyways, I hope that you have a purposeful, powerful, and productive week ahead. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Deuces.